So, what if I told you that the one thing that could change everything is the investment in you? What if investing in your mindset and your self concept, what if that served as the ultimate act of self love that transforms everything in your life, that gets you everything you fucking want? And that's what I'm going to talk about today on this channel. Because whenever we think about self investment and self love, especially investment, we tend to focus on money and investing in stocks and bonds and classes and coaches. Um, but today, what I really want to dive in deep about is investing in yourself, investing in your beliefs, your thoughts, changing your behaviors, changing your self concept, because I do believe that that's an act of self love. Um, thoughts serve as energetic currency to the universe. And I believe that the more we focus on our attention and our energy on reprogramming our mind, the more we actually step into a higher, more powerful version of ourselves. And when you do this, when you invest the time, the energy, and resources in ourselves, you're basically stating to the universe, to yourself, you're embodying the version of you that says, hey, I matter. I'm worth it. Like, I'm fucking worthy of an amazing, incredible life experience. And I think that's really overlooked, you know, because a lot of people, they want a spiritual bypass. We just want the thing, we want the manifestation. But when we start to really dig deep and uncover the underlying beliefs, our limiting beliefs, when we start to consciously affirm and rewrite the story for ourselves, and we do that with conviction and we do that with consistency and persistence, that's what really changes everything, because it's less about getting the thing in the manifestation. I've said on this channel before, like, of course we want the money, we want the SP, we want the career, whatever we're manifesting, right? But when we stop looking at it from a lens of, I'm doing all this to get the thing, to get something outside of me to manifest, we can start to see that this is really, manifestation is really just a journey. It's a relationship. It's almost like a game, but it's a game between us and ourselves. It's a game between the human character that we're playing. So, for instance, I'm Justin. It's the relationship between Justin and my God state, right? And when we plant the seeds, when we invest spiritually, when we invest mentally in changing these beliefs and changing these stories and these thoughts and behaviors and work on our self concept, um, it transcends everything. And we actually get to keep what the fuck we manifest. Because I spoke in my last lecture about self concept. And, you can manifest with a shitty self concept, but it's a lot harder to maintain your manifestations. It really solidifies, it really lays the foundation of what you get to receive. It lays the foundation of, this is my reality and this is a permanent experience for me, right? Now, like, there are a few reasons why people do spiritual bypass and why they want to manifest their dreams, but we all, sometimes we hesitate and we avoid investing in ourselves and improving our self concept and our beliefs. And I'm going to give you guys 5 reasons. There are more reasons, obviously, but these are the 5 that I could think about and that I see most common with people and just people in my own life experience. Um, and the first one would be the fear of the unknown. Our subconscious mind, it likes to cling to what is known, right? It doesn't like to venture out into unknown territory, because to our subconscious mind, anything unknown is, it's like the worst case scenario, right? We'd rather be dead than to to venture out into unknown territory and, you know, risk everything. And that's why we cling to what is known. We cling to these stories. We cling to these beliefs, even though sometimes they don't serve us. And that's the second thing too is we have all these deeply limiting subconscious beliefs. And there's a quote, I don't know who said it, but there's a quote that, what we for most people, it's not the fear of failure. It's actually the fear of success. It's the fear of succeeding because we don't know how to accept success. We have these subconscious beliefs, even though we're not consciously walking around all the time thinking, I'm not worthy of success. The only thing I can ever do is fail. I'm not lucky in business. I'm not lucky in love. Even though we're not consciously thinking this, most people aren't. Through our life experiences, through us being programmed from the ages of, 1 to 8, 1 to 9, whatever. We have these subconscious beliefs that keep us from going after our dreams, that keep us from, staying consistent with things, with really being persistent in this new version of ourselves. So it's the fear of the unknown, right? And it's these limiting subconscious beliefs that really hold most people back. But there's another reason, and that's the third reason I'm going to talk about, which is resistance and discomfort. As soon as we start to affirm the new story, as soon as we start to embody the version of ourselves that has the desire, that acts in the way that has our desire, that starts to speak in the way the version of ourselves who has already manifested what we want. We get 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, even longer sometimes, and then we give up. And why do we give up? And that goes back to the limiting subconscious belief, because even though we want the thing, even though, for a while we do act accordingly and act in alignment to the version of ourselves that has it, we haven't changed the core belief. We haven't changed our self-concept long enough for that to actually solidify and collapse into 3D reality, right? That it it's not that we aren't trying hard enough. It's not that we're doing anything wrong. It's just that this new identity that we are carrying with us, this new identity that we are claiming for ourselves, we are, we just have to realize that that identity isn't the dominant identity. It's not the dominant state of being, right? Like, and I mean, it makes sense. Like, we've carried, most of us have carried an identity that doesn't serve us for a very long time, years, if not decades. And so, of course, like sometimes it's going to take time. Like, I'm not saying you can't manifest instantly. I'm not saying you can't wake up one day being a completely different version of yourself and live the life you want to live. But I'm saying for most people, it's going to take time. And so it's that resistance of your subconscious mind almost fighting back, because, like I said, it doesn't like the unknown. It's almost threatening to your subconscious mind, because, like I said, it'd rather feel safe in known territory than to venture out into something that could, completely collapse your paradigm of the world, of reality. So it's that resistance and that discomfort. And when people feel that resistance, when they feel that discomfort, you know, they just go back into their little shell. They revert back to the default programming, which often says, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to receive my desire. Things don't work out for me. Life is hard. Maybe I'm just not meant to be wealthy. Maybe I'm just not meant to receive my desire. And so it's that discomfort. And for a lot of people, it's also a dependence on external validation. We've been so conditioned to need something outside of us to feel better. And when we start to learn law of assumption and other spiritual concepts, right? Like it's really dismantling that dependency on something outside of us. And I'm not saying, you need to feel happy all the time or you need to constantly be in high vibrations or whatever. But I think there is truth to, living life in a way where you're content without having your desire in 3D. And, it's that dependency that really gets a lot of us stuck, right? Like I've been there. Like I've struggled a lot with, you know, needing needing the relationship to show up before I felt loved, or needing the money to hit my bank account before I felt abundant. But what's really powerful about these concepts, what's really powerful about Neville and law of assumption is understanding that it's not that you need these things. Like you don't need these things to feel better about yourself. You don't need these things to know your worth, to understand that you are the operant power. And it's undoing that programming, which, like I said, it takes time. Sometimes it takes years on this journey to really get to that level where you can be content enough and just live life and stop obsessing about your manifestation, stop worrying about when it's going to come, stop sulking. Um, and, it's that dependency on external validation, and it's also impatience. It's not persisting long enough in the new story and the new self concept, which really ties into what I was saying before. As soon as we don't see, as soon as we are affirming, and we look out into 3D, which again is that dependency on external validation. It's that craving we get to check 3D to see if our manifestation has come yet. And when we don't see it, we stop persisting. But to me, like if you really want something, right? If especially if it's something dire, like if you need money for rent because you're afraid you're gonna get evicted, or you have an impending health condition. Like to me, it's more important. It makes more sense to keep persisting in those situations because if you really want it, you're gonna do whatever it takes to for it to manifest. But it's not, like I said, it's not just about it manifesting. It's about realizing that you are shifting into a new version of yourself, that this is all about changing the relationship between you and yourself and what you get to have and what you believe is possible for yourself. So when you invest in your mind, it's really you are giving yourself one of the most powerful gifts of self-love. And we think of self-love, we think of self-care as like spa days and baths and doing little things like that, which is self care. But to me, a more powerful way to embody self love, like I said, is to really work on your self concept, to work on your beliefs, to know that you are worthy of receiving everything you want, that you are worthy of being this version of yourself that is fucking incredible because you are. And if we think of limiting beliefs as almost like weed in a garden, like if you don't pull them out, eventually your yard and your garden, whatever, it looks like shit, right? Like eventually the weeds start take over, and then you're like, shit, I gotta hire someone, or I gotta do it myself to get all these weeds up and maintain my yard again, right? So eventually, like beliefs like I'm not good enough or I always fail, like if they're running in the background, especially unconsciously, like that affects how you show up in life. That affects your actions, that affects your feelings, everything, right? And the good thing is like knowing this information, already being on this journey, Um, Being aware of conscious manifestation, it's really the first step. So just by listening to these lectures, just by reading Neville, listening to other people who are coaches and make content about manifestation, like that's really like you are already on the journey of changing all this, of changing your self concept to realizing that there's more than just this human experience, that we are more than just our bodies, we're more than just our thoughts, and that we really are the creator of our own reality. So once you understand conscious manifestation, once you notice your limiting beliefs, once you notice your thoughts in general, like you can shift them into something more empowering. Like I am learning every day. I am worthy of love and success. And, this isn't just positive thinking, right? Like going back to the garden and yard metaphor, right? Like this is leading you to lasting transformation. It's not just about getting the thing, even though you're going to get the thing as a result, right? But every time you make this mental shift, you're basically telling yourself that you're worthy of a better life. You're worthy of better thoughts. You're worthy of your manifestation. And time is a huge way to invest yourself. Like techniques and practices like visualization, meditation, scripting, affirmation sessions. That's all self care just as much as baths and everything else, right? And I mean, anything else you do for, I'm trying to think of other self care things, but like self care things for me would be like clipping my toenails, doing my beard, getting a haircut, right? But like visualization, for example, like we all know it's not just daydreaming. Like imagination creates reality. And meditation, that helps clear mental clutter, that gives you space. It's easier to hear your higher self. Scripting, it allows you to reflect, release limiting beliefs. Um, and eventually, this is going to help reprogram your mind. So it's the small acts that really count, right? Like it's the 1% increments that lead you over time to 100%. And you have to be persistent because most people, they don't see results right away, and then they want to give up. But what is that going to do? How are these limiting beliefs, if you don't change them, how are they really going to serve you into the version of yourself you want to become, right? And these 1% increments, these small acts for yourself are powerful because they show you that you're making time to care for yourself. They are shaping your inner world, which is going to be reflected in your outer world. And like when we, for example, like when we talk about coaching, right? Like learning is another major form of self-love. Enrolling in courses and reading self-help books and reading Neville or working with a coach, like that shows that you believe in your potential. And it's saying like I'm worth the time and effort it takes to grow. I don't care how long it's going to take me. Like this isn't about seeing results the next day. And that with time your whole life's going to change. And it's a skill set. I've said it before, conscious manifestation really is a skill set. These tech Learning these things on how to transcend circumstances, to transcend your current conception of yourself is a skill set because it's something you must practice every day. Because if not, you're just going to fall asleep. You're going to revert back to your default programming, right? And when we choose these things for ourselves, when we read books and work with coaches, like we're actively choosing to nurture the highest version of ourselves. Watching this video, it's even that can make a huge difference over time. And the more you invest in learning, the more tools and knowledge you have to create the life you want. And, you know, like, for example, like, personally, I'm working on overcoming this fear. Um, like the fear of putting more content out there, right? Like, I'm overcoming the fear, the version of me who is scared to, um, or reluctant to show my face more on camera because, I have videos on my channel where I show my face, but, it's still something that I'm uncomfortable with at times. And, um, I do want to eventually get into coaching. That's why right now, currently, I've already invested in myself, and I'm already shifting into a version of me because I'm working right now on becoming an accredited mindset and manifestation coach because I want to show up for the highest version of myself, not just for myself, but for others because this shit's life changing information. Manifestation has changed my entire life. I've been practicing since 2019. I become aware of manifestation since 2019, and I'm a completely different person. I think of the world completely differently now. And I truly believe that, this is what Jesus was trying to do. He was trying to show us that all the answers are inside of us. And, I want to impact other people. I want to show up for other people and really empower them to step into their God state. It's been a huge act of self-love for myself just to invest in my growth. Even when it's felt a little scary or uncertain, even when I have the limiting beliefs because I'm human that, oh, like, no one will invest in my coaching. But see, that's just my old self concept playing out still. That's just the weeds in my garden that I need to uproot. And the more I affirm, the more I visualize, the more I consistently show up as the version of me that consistently creates content, that, you know, invest in myself through courses and working with other coaches. Like, over time, that is transforming me, that is crystallizing into my reality, that is actually collapsing reality because it's who manifestation is all about, who we're being, right? And that's basically what I wanted to say today, is that investing in yourself and changing your self-concept and your behaviors, is probably the highest form of self-love we can have, because that's what really matters. It's nice to do things for yourself and to take time for yourself, but what really matters is the relationship you have with yourself. And that's why I wanted to take a moment to talk to you guys, because I think that every single one of you are worth it, and you're worthy of an incredible life. You're worthy of manifesting your all your wildest dreams, and it's possible. You're just in the consciousness of it not being possible. But with time, with doing the techniques, with doing the inner work, you will get there. I have no doubt about it. I have no doubt about that. Everything that I am currently imagining will come to pass, because that's how reality is created. And if you test these things and you keep persisting and you don't give up, you will, we will all get to experience everything that we truly desire, because God speaks to us through our desires. The universe, higher power, source, whatever you want to call it, that's how it speaks to us. And we are all co-creating with the divine intelligence that runs through us all. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about, guys. Is keep investing in yourself, keep loving yourself, keep focusing our attention and focusing your energy on what you prefer, because the more you do that, the more you step into that powerful version of yourself, the more you will keep stepping into your God state. And, I just want to take this last note. If any of you are interested in coaching, it's something I'm not ready to do right now today, but I do feel like in the next couple of weeks to the next month or so, it's something I would like to eventually, branch out, and I would love to start working with you guys. I would love to start, helping you work through your mental blocks, because I have manifested incredible things for my life, and I think I'm at that point where I am ready to help others transform their lives, because I know this shit is real. I know this shit works, and I want to, for a limited time, I want to offer my coaching services for free, so that people can really benefit from the knowledge, the advice. But it's less about the advice, because I believe all the answers are inside of us. And as a coach, I'm acting as a mirror. I'm acting as a flashlight, shining a light on all your blind spots, right? So for a limited time, I am going to be coaching for free. If any of you are interested, let me know in the comments. You can write like the word interested or coach or anything like that. And I will actually reach out to you, if you are interested, and we'll see where this goes. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a amazing day. I hope you're having an amazing week. And if this content resonates with you, please like, share. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys today about. And I'll see you in the next one.